we finished media days. We got back. Kentucky got picked 14th. Willie Rodriguez and Lance Hurd were the only two preseason All-SEC selections. Adam Luckett, what did the media get wrong about Kentucky during that week in Tampa?
There was not – first I started off this. I get why people are wanting to pick Kentucky at the bottom. 100% understand it. New era, new players, first-time head coach, two coordinators, Nick, that the league, like people around the league that we talk to are just down on, for lack of a better word. They're just down on because of what happened at LSU and because Bateman had the weird kind of, was he calling plays? Was he not calling plays? And what happened in North Carolina. So I get why people are doing it. I just think personally, when Kentucky is brought up, I don't think people are paying close enough attention to like this track record Stein has at QB. No. I think if Will Stein was the head coach at Auburn, I think if Will Stein was the head coach at South Carolina, I think if he was the head coach at a lot of these schools, this would just be like, well, they're going to be good on offense right away. There wasn't enough talk about that. I'm about to pull up something here, and this is 5 consecutive seasons, and I'm putting this in Kentucky. This is essentially, you would have had Andre Woodson for 5 years in a row at Kentucky. This is what Stein has done offensively. Every completion rate at 70%, essentially 69.6 is the lowest. Every passer is over 3,500 yards. Everyone's over 8.5 yards per attempt. Everyone's gotten to at least 32 total touchdowns, and all these guys bring some level of run element to the table. Frank Harris, 4,063 passing yards, 41 total touchdowns, 749 sack rushing yards. Bo Nix, 77.4% completion rate, ridiculous. 4,500 passing yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 51 total touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel, 72.9, 3,800 passing yards, 37 total touchdowns. Dante Moore, 72% completion rate, 3,500 passing yards, 32 total touchdowns. Nick, there was not a quarterback who reached 30 passing touchdowns in the league last year. No one passed for 4,000 yards. When Joe Sloan was at LSU, we know last year was just a total train wreck, but like Garrett Nussmeier threw for over 4,000 yards in 2024.
Jane Daniels, pretty good when he was his quarterback coach.
So I really do. I get some of why like the national perception is Kentucky, but if you just get those averages, which your average would be like 3,400 yards,
yep,
36, 37 touchdowns,
be the best passing season
400 non-sack rushing yards.
Yeah, not even close.
This is what Kentucky signed up for. Is that? So, like, to me, remember last year, Nick, my big saying going in the year, really it comes down to 2 games. Ole Miss, South Carolina. If they win 1, I think they probably have a good year. Win 2, you might have a great year. Win 0, it's going to be tough to survive.
Well, didn't survive.
And that ended up, they almost did it, by God. But they almost turned it around, but they didn't. To me, this season, it's all about Minchie. If he produces numbers like that, he's like one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the league. And if you got a guy like that, unless the rest of your team just stinks, like you have an Arkansas situation like last year, where it was like one of the worst defenses in recent SEC history. Unless you have something like that, like this team is going to win football games. That's what I keep coming back to. I know I get some of the skepticism, but if they get that out of the quarterback position, newsflash, they're probably not going to lose more games than they win.
When they released the SEC teams, I kind of put together a list of players who, hey, these guys got overlooked now, but will be in the conversation. Could be in postseason All-SEC honors. It's a pretty talented quarterback league this year with Chambliss and Arch at the top. But, you got like guys like Mateer and Gunnar Stockton who kind of have this like, I don't know about him. And then what's Golish going to do with Byron Brown? How's that leveling up going to work at Auburn after putting up some pretty crazy numbers at USF? But there's a world where, similar to Will Rogers under Mike Leach, where this guy just puts up insane numbers that you have to respect. There's a world where that happens with the quick game that they're going to run with Minchie, his mobility, his ability to extend plays. I think that's the part that maybe doesn't get talked enough about Minchie too, is he's a pretty damn good athlete as well. And so when if he just has enough tools, then I think asking for comparable numbers not only should be it's not just crazy talk, like it should be kind of the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, if you kind of expect even though they retained a lot of the defense, you expect the defense to slide back some, but the offense should be light years ahead of what we grew accustomed to under Mark Stoops.
You would think so.
I think the overall bigger question, though, it goes back to conversations with, like when we talk with Brooks Austin and, if you see some of these sort of in-depth analysis, you look at the national champions in recent years that have been defensive-oriented teams. Is defense catching up to offense? I think that's sort of the bigger question, right? It's just like college football in general. Can you win big going this way? Doing these sort of we're gonna smash the offensive button. I think that's a question for another day. I think if you can win 8 by doing the offensive way, then sign me up for that. I think most fans would sign up for that, especially after doing the defensive thing and kind of smashing your head on the wall for so long. It's time to give the offense a try.
Yeah, I agree with some of that, but also I do agree with defenses are ahead in football right now. I think the rule changes has helped out, but I also think they just figured out okay, these guys are faster than us. We've got to get faster people, and we got to teach them how to play these specific positions. And I think they've done that, and I think they've understood kind of if you don't give up the explosives, we just got to give we can't give those up. If we don't, we'll be fine if we just take care of those. Mm-hmm. So I do think so that has all come back around a little bit. And I think the spread and tempo and the gas pedal stuff for the most part has kind of gone away. But I also think you got to have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to have a system where a quarterback can thrive and have success in an offense. That was ultimately why Kentucky, the last era, failed. That was ultimately
in spite of poor quarterback play.
That's ultimately why that didn't work. So you've got to have a good system in place. You can't just be just all defense first and then figure out offense. So I think that's important to remember. Kentucky's doing this, and part of the reason Stein was available to them, in my opinion, was because of that, right? And I think head coaching experience has been kind of a huge thing that everyone, all these teams that search for coaches this offseason, Nick, they all wanted, all these power conference teams, they all wanted guys with coaching experience.
Correct.
So Kentucky was able to go pick off someone where in another world or in a few more years, it might have been there would have been more competition for Stein to get him. So I think all of that adds up. Kentucky's zigging while everyone's zagging a little bit, but I think it's a good spot for them to zig. And again, back to those names I just showed. This guy hasn't missed. He has not missed at quarterback. He hasn't. And so if that keeps happening, and Kentucky is entering every year where they might have one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, I'll take my chances. Let's see what happens there, right? Especially with the way they're kind of recruiting because back when they had the quarterbacks, Nick, they were recruiting at a sub 50 level. Now they're recruiting at a top 25 level. I want to see what that looks like. So sign me up.
I'll take